The World Cup is the biggest stage in football. Billions watching, history being written. For most players, it's a dream they would do anything to reach. But every now and then, a player looks at that call-up and says no. These are 7 players who rejected World Cup call-ups. And some of these decisions will shock you.
Number 7. Odsonne Edouard, Haiti, 2026. Odsonne Edouard was in great form for RC Lens. Goals, trophies, and one of the most consistent seasons of his career. Haiti, preparing for their World Cup return, came calling. He was eligible through his parents. It felt like the perfect story, but Edouard said no. His reason wasn't ego, it was principle. He felt he hadn't been part of the qualification journey and didn't want to take someone else's place at the last moment. A rare decision in modern football. Haiti went to the World Cup without him. Number 6. Eli Jr. Cruyff, Portugal. Eli Jr. Cruyff was only 19 years old, but already making headlines in Europe with Bournemouth, showing serious potential in the Premier League. Portugal approached him with a World Cup opportunity, which would have meant sharing the pitch with Cristiano Ronaldo on football's biggest stage. However, Cruyff rejected the offer. His reason was loyalty to France, the country he has represented at youth level throughout his career. He believed his path was still with the French senior team, even if it meant missing a World Cup now. It was a bold decision, choosing long-term dreams over immediate glory. Number 5. Louis Ben Farhat, Tunisia, 2026. Louis Ben Farhat's situation became controversial during Tunisia's World Cup preparations. The 19-year-old midfielder had already been called up and even appeared in friendlies. But just before the final squad was confirmed, communication broke down. His father contacted the national team and stated that his son would not accept the call-up. The coach was left shocked and frustrated, especially after being unable to reach the player directly. Later reports pointed to injury recovery and transfer concerns as possible reasons. Regardless, the rejection of a World Cup walk-on through a family member made this one of the most unusual cases in modern football. Number 4. Ben White, England. Ben White was part of England's squad at the 2022 World Cup in Qatar, but his tournament ended unexpectedly. Midway through the competition, he left the camp for personal reasons, with the Football Association asking for privacy and no details being publicly shared. He did not return for the rest of the tournament. England continued their campaign without him, and over time, reports suggested there may have been internal issues, though nothing was ever officially confirmed. What is certain is that White stepped away from a World Cup while it was still ongoing, making it one of the most mysterious departures in recent memory. Number 3. Nikola Kalinic, Croatia. Nikola Kalinic was part of Croatia's squad during the 2018 World Cup in Russia, but his tournament ended in dramatic fashion. During the group stage, he refused to come on as a substitute, citing injury concerns. This wasn't the first incident, as he had already withdrawn from training sessions and a friendly match earlier due to similar issues. The coach, Zlatko Dalic, decided to send him home immediately. Croatia went on to reach the World Cup final without him, while Kalinic turned down a runners-up medal, saying he did not deserve it because he didn't play. It remains one of the most controversial squad exits in World Cup history. Number 2. Ruud Gullit, Netherlands. Ruud Gullit, one of the greatest players of his generation, was expected to lead the Netherlands at the 1994 World Cup. He had returned to the national team and even performed well in a friendly shortly before the tournament. However, tensions with coach Dick Advocaat over tactics and playing position caused a major breakdown. Eventually, Gullit made the shocking decision to withdraw from the squad entirely. The Netherlands went to the World Cup without him and were eliminated by Brazil in the quarterfinals, with many believing his presence could have changed the outcome. His departure remains one of the biggest what-if moments in Dutch football history. Number 1. Johan Cruyff, Netherlands. Johan Cruyff, the face of total football and one of the greatest players in history, did not participate in the 1978 World Cup despite being at the peak of his powers. For years, speculation surrounded his absence, from sponsorship disputes to disagreements with the Dutch Football Federation. However, it was later revealed that Cruyff had been the victim of an attempted kidnapping at his home in Barcelona the year before. The trauma from that event led him to refuse to travel to Argentina for the tournament. The Netherlands still reached the World Cup final without him, but his absence remains one of the most shocking decisions in football history. Sometimes a World Cup call-up is everything. A dream, a legacy, a moment in history. But for these players, the answer was no. These were 7 players who rejected World Cup call-ups. Which story shocked you the most? Let me know in the comments. And if you want more football documentaries like this, subscribe for the next one.